if you have all of that experience and you know in your heart you feel insecure about what you're doing, you don't want to make the wrong decision. It's tax time. Make sure that you get all your tax stuff together. It's very critical that you have all the right tax documents sent to your accountant or, now with the age of technology, the IRS makes it very difficult to, keep track of your own taxes. Before you could just make approximations. Not anymore. It's all electronic. They can see and they will adjust your tax return based on, reporting the wrong stuff. And those come with penalties. And those penalties are not innocuous. They are painful. So do it right the first time. I heard a quote recently, and I wish I could remember who said it, but it was something to the effect of, if you don't have time to do it right the first time, when are you going to have time to do it right? So do it right the first time. Then you won't have to do it again.
Yeah, I've been saving all my receipts for this year just because I want to have them. Rather have them than show up a year later, file a 1099, not have anything to deduct.
I would like to ask you, in our in our brief time of knowing each other, when I came in here, would you have known anywhere near as much of the stuff that you've done financially had I not been here?
Absolutely not. No.
Helpful or not helpful?
I knew everything existed, but it was all this daunting mountain. And I think that's how a lot of people feel when they don't have access to an educator or a advisor or a friend or family member who you can have some guidance, because this is not stuff you learn with your bachelor's degree.
Even though all of that information is out there on the internet, because it is, right? All that information that I've told you and walked you through is out there. Would you have been able to navigate it without somebody walking you through it?
No. Maybe I would be able to, but that requires taking that first step. And what I think someone like you does is force that first step.
So do you remember when we first started, the question was, what do you do that can't be done on a computer? And remember, we said that we were going to try originally to create some kind of a pathway to try to educate people from the very beginning on what they should do and how they should manage their life. Now that you've been through it yourself, you see how difficult that is, because every decision, every situation is totally different, because you've seen me work with other people here in the studio and help them along their journey, which is completely different from your journey. Right?
Right.
So how do we reconcile that? What are your thoughts on an actual person who's able to help you navigate that versus technology and the apps that you've been exposed to during our time?
I think with everything, so there's apps, and I was using Mint, and I was using, I was not the most financially illiterate. I was like repairing my credit and taking the right steps. But when it comes down to both details and motivation or just checking in, it's like having a gym buddy almost. Like, you can do the things and you should do the things, but are you going to if you don't have someone you provide like a level of accountability, but also openness to not feel judged when you ask the question, which I think is probably a huge barrier for people who don't feel like they're educated.
Yeah, that's the intangible difficulty. If you have all of that experience and in your heart you feel insecure about what you're doing, you don't want to make the wrong decision, and then as time goes on, you feel guilty about asking about what it is that you should have already known or you should have already done, having someone to talk to walk you through those things without judging is critical. Hey, you. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Money in the Bank with Frank. If you like that, hit the subscribe button. We have plenty more content like that on the Merge TV, and we look forward to seeing you next time.